My goodness. My goodness, we did it. Hello. Welcome to the Red Hot Underdogs. I am AnzaK, and with me on this magical weekend, the ever incredible, long contained, often imitated, never duplicated. I've just realized it's kind of not the weekend. What's the long weekend, right? It's Drewy.
Hey, buddy. Hello, everybody.
I like
Welcome to the pod.
I like
Hey,
the
yeah. Got the fighting stance. Absolutely. I'm ready
yeah,
to rock and roll
yeah,
and
yeah.
rumble. Everybody, welcome to the podcast that tries to be everybody's favorite, but is more than likely the least favorite member of the family.
Oh
But
yeah.
that's okay.
Oh
We
yeah.
truck on, we move on.
Yeah.
Well done, the bloody Penrith Panthers.
Well done.
Amazing.
Yeah.
4 in a row. Incredible.
Four in a row. And
Yes.
and it was a good game too. It was a good game.
Yes.
Um
Yes.
not controversial. I mean there was a try that could have been by the
By
Storm.
the Storm. Yeah.
I mean
Just
was
on that,
yeah.
people mention that they have actually 24 different camera angles they can go to in the bunker.
Yeah.
So they've got all of the angles covered. Now, I know somebody's probably going to show you something on social media or something to show an angle that maybe favors the Storm, but I think the bunker got it right. I
Mm,
think when I watched it, they got it right.
mm.
And with 24 different angles, I think they got it right. And also, Penrith were just the better side.
And if Storm got that try,
Yeah,
then they wouldn't have won anyway.
still not enough to win.
Yeah.
Penrith won 14-6.
Yeah.
So,
I mean
yeah,
close. Yeah. Close. Like
close. So Penrith won 14-6. Storm scored the first try in the
yep.
22nd minute, courtesy of Harry Grant.
Yep.
And then in the 26th minute, Sonny Taruva scored for the Panthers. He
Yep.
scored in the 26th minute, Liam Martin in the 38th minute, and much later on in the game, in the second half, Paul Adam Alamotti scored in the 60th minute.
Yep.
So 3 tries to 1.
Yep.
Penrith were much the better side.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were absolutely amazing. And they also ripped up the script because quite often there's an age-old adage in rugby league that says, you got to lose one to win one. They're like, yeah, cool fucking story. How about we got to lose one to win 4?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is very amazing.
Four in a row.
It's actually, yeah, it's a proper dynasty. Some people say dynasty.
Yeah.
Tomato, potato.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a dynasty.
Nobody says potatoes, right? I'd like some
No.
no.
But you know how people have
Yeah.
different variations on things. No one says potato.
Maybe
If you
somebody
say potato, you're
maybe
an idiot.
somebody potatoes. I'm sure someone does actually now I think about it.
Oh, quite possibly. But it was 10-6 at
Yep.
half time,
Yep.
and Penrith scored obviously a try courtesy of Alamotti in the 60th minute in the second half to take it to 14-6. Nathan Cleary, once again, awesome player.
Yep.
The only thing that he possibly did wrong in the game, which just nitpicking, 1 out of 3 from his goal kicking.
Yeah.
Nothing major. You're splitting hairs when you're trying to find negatives on the guy.
Yeah.
Um,
But like there
Amazing.
was some hard kicks there too. Like, you know.
That both of the ones were right from the sideline, so you can forgive that. Clive Churchill medalist Liam Martin for
Yeah,
the
that was
Panthers.
not expected,
Yeah.
was it?
Well, yes and no. I mean, when I see him at his best, he is a phenomenal player. He's just a relentless workhorse,
Mm.
got plenty of X factor, just not in necessarily natural ability, but just toughness and explosiveness and everything that you want from a forward.
Mm.
Yeah, so that was awesome for him. And I just don't know if this will ever be done again in the salary cap era. What are
Yeah.
your thoughts?
Well, no, I don't think it will. And can they win again? Very unlikely now. They've got what, 5 players disappearing or so, is that right? But
Well, yeah, they've got three major players disappearing
yep,
for next year, which are Fisher, Harris, Luai, and Taruva.
yep.
Good news for the West Tigers.
Yeah.
Luai and Taruva are going over to you guys, so you
Mm.
might actually
Not come
ditch
last.
the wooden spoon next
Yeah.
year, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And Fisher Harris is going over to the Warriors, which will be a welcome addition to their setup.
Yep.
I'm just literally speechless. This sort of thing in the modern era of football is completely amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, people talk about St. George.
And when was
and
St.
getting
George? 50s, 60s, like 11-year run, right? They did it
Yeah,
11 or 9.
56 to 1956 to 1966 inclusive.
Yeah.
So it was 11 in a row. And people glaze, not glaze, they really hype up that St. George team. They really pump up the tires for that St. George team. But I'm going to argue that this Penrith accomplishment is better.
Yeah.
Because back then, guess what? People playing rugby league were plumbers, garbage man. You worked in an office. You just did daily jobs.
Yeah.
Whatever you did, the NRL, or it wasn't the NRL back then, but the New South Wales Rugby League back then, it was played on a weekend.
Yeah. Something to do
you
on the
had your job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a side profession.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even a professional. It was something to do. It was something you did on the weekend. That's what it was.
Yes. But
And
you were sort of semi-famous for it.
yeah,
Because people still watched it outside your job.
yeah. You'd meet people at the pubs and smoke cigarettes with them. That's what you do. Yeah.
Yes. And the difference between them and now is that the huge difference, there was no salary cap.
Yeah.
So obviously everybody wanted to pile into the St. George Club to play.
Because they're winning. Because
they're winning. Everyone loves a bloody winner, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if they've got the cash to give it to you as well, then they will,
Yeah, absolutely. So the poor old other sides were just on a hiding to nothing. You were just playing a side that was winning a popularity contest because all the best players just wanted to play with them.
For the winner, yeah.
The closest outside of that coming to this, again, not in the salary cap era, was Parramatta from 81 to 83.
Okay, yep.
So they won 3 in a row.
Yep.
And just what makes this so amazing is just the fact that this team can just still produce, even losing players like Crichton and Kickow and so on and so forth. They've lost a ton of stars over, this dynasty, but they just keep getting it done.
Yeah.
Because we discussed predictions last week, and that was my main worry for the Storm, was despite all the hype, despite the momentum, despite how well they were going, Penrith had just shown in the 3 previous occasions they just knew how to get it done. I had no scientific reasoning for that.
You've just frozen. I don't even know if this is recording still here. Let me hit pause. You've frozen like this. This is you, Drewy. Hang on. Let me hit pause. See if this works. Okay. Yeah, I lost you for a second. You froze in a kind of in one of these ones. You're doing
we're
this.
back.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but what I was saying is Penrith's ability to lose players and still continue to win has just been absolutely amazing. And what I did say is, we mentioned predictions last week, and I was just saying that I predicted Penrith because although the Storm had all of the momentum, all of the ability going in,
Yeah.
and they looked by far the better side leading into the grand final. They'd been there on 3 previous occasions and had just got the job done. There was nothing nuanced about the answer.
Yeah, but they, let's go through the last 3 wins. I mean, they only just won by the skin of their teeth last year.
Yes, and the Souths one was close. The only one that wasn't close was against Parramatta in 2022.
Yeah, so wow, that's 3 close games in a year. Sorry, 3 close
Yeah.
games in 3 years, which is good too. I mean, we just had that AFL blowout, and
Mm.
it kind of, I mean, it depends
Mm.
which team you're going for. Obviously, you're watching Manly and they win 40-0, you're enjoying it. But, like rugby league wins when it's a close game and a good game, which it was. And
Yeah.
and anyway, I do have a question. I do have a question. I watched it here. Had a couple of people here. Had
Mm.
uh Mark and Jason and Phil and
Yeah.
Cog and Rich. And
Yes.
was that it? Yeah, that was it. And after the game, Rich actually was saying that it's boring. I know he's a Storm supporter, you know that. He was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
"Oh, it's boring,
Mm.
Penrith winning all the time." But,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, well, no, they're not winning all the time. If yeah, sure, they've won 4 years in a row, but
Mm.
if you just snapshot the past 30 years, okay,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
like how many teams have won it in 30 years? Okay, since the mid 80s, everybody's won,
Well,
or
but
not.
even heading into this game, the Storm had beaten the Panthers the previous 2 times in the
Yeah,
regular season, heading into this grand final.
yeah,
But it's what you do on the big dance. And this is why the Panthers, I feel, had the huge advantage going in.
yeah,
They had seen it the previous 3 years. They knew what the day looked like.
yeah, yeah,
And that comes with experience.
yeah,
But there was that extra narrative of would the Storm put an end to their dynasty
yeah,
a couple of years later because obviously the Storm beat them in 2020.
yeah, yeah,
But Penrith said not today. But for a Penrith fan, I mean, my God, how good is it? They're like these grand finals. They're like a Thai massage. There are a few twists and turns, but at the end, you always get the happy ending.
always, always. Well, yeah,
Always.
always.
That well, no,
Yeah,
you didn't in
Penrith does.
2020, but
If you go
yeah.
out, if you go for a
Oh, did
time
I say
massage in,
Storm or did I say Penrith?
yeah,
Penrith.
Penrith. Yeah, you said Penrith.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah. Good, yeah,
but if you go for a Thai massage in Penrith, maybe.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Now,
Probably.
yeah, probably. Now, listen. What do you think? Is Rich right? Is it boring? Is it boring? Penrith winning all the time.
It will be.
Because don't forget,
Uh,
you and I didn't want this. We were
mm,
like, three's enough. We want someone else to win it. But they get to the grand final and you're going,
mm.
because you're like, okay, well, look, they're there, you know,
I
you know,
will say this: you've still got to come with the game plan.
yeah.
What Penrith did, their defense was like the Great Wall of China,
Yeah, the defense
and
won it, didn't it? There and nobody has done that well against uh the Storm.
Storm. Yeah, yeah.
Storm
Honestly,
attack. People letting in tries left, right, and center, but the Panthers just
mm,
they were Great Wall of
yeah,
China, great
yeah.
wall of
That
Penrith. Hey,
that defense was tighter than a gay virgin's asshole.
yeah,
The the
yeah,
Storm were just having so much trouble penetrating it throughout
yeah,
the course of the game.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
They kept Grant, Hughes, and Pappenhausen extremely quiet.
yeah,
They were librarian games for them.
yeah,
Grant Hughes and Pappenhausen have been the explosive dynamite force for the Storm, and they were just kept on. One thing for the Storm, they were missing Nelson Asafa Solomona, who was their huge enforcer, 6'9" forward.
Jesus.
Been great this year.
Yeah.
Got suspended for this game. Would it have made a difference to the result? No, I don't believe so. But I do believe that it would have provided the Storm with that extra punch when they were getting bogged down by the Penrith defence. So, yes, it would have made a bit of a difference, but probably not to the result. But we see this all the time. Suspensions happen, so what are you going to do? And I'm not going to take anything away from Penrith because they were awesome. Masterpiece.
Are we going to be sitting here? We're going to be sitting here in a year's time saying, we doubted that they could do it again, and they've done it again. Is this going to be a 5 years winning in a row? Because, at what stage can you say they can't do it again? Yeah, they've got rid of these 3 players you've said, but that's happened over the past 3 years.
Yeah.
Probably lost better players over the past 3 and more of them.
And that's the thing. The Penrith catchment area for talent is huge geographically.
Yeah.
It's so much bigger than any other Sydney club. So they've got a pretty big advantage there. And I'm not willing to rule it out, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
I can't. What are you going to say? Oh, well, no, not next year. They've just won the last 4 in a row. I know they're losing players, but they've lost players before.
Yeah.
And they just seem to have this big conveyor belt coming through.
Yeah. And
of Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminators.
We really need to go out to Penrith and have a nice, go to have yum cha there or something like that. Nice bacon and egg sandwich this morning.
Wearing Manly jerseys.
Yeah.
Huh?
That's where you want. That's where you want to be. You want to be. What's the main street in Penrith? We don't even know. Do you know? I've been there. It's quite nice.
I would not have a clue.
Yeah.
I've probably been to Penrith 3 or 4 times in my life.
I went there I think it was last year. Because my cousin was in the mountains, and being in Manly, it's kind of halfway. Well, it's probably not halfway. It's very much a lot more way from Manly. But my point is, I went there, and it's a really nice place. It's a it's a nice place.
Yeah, I do like Penrith.
Yeah,
I've got to say, leading into this year, this was the one grand final I didn't want, which was Panthers and Storm.
Yeah,
Panthers because they keep winning. They'd won the previous 3. It's now 4. Storm I just simply don't like.
Yeah,
but at first I wasn't crazy about the game, but over the course of the week, I began to really embrace it.
Yeah.
At first, it was like somebody dropped an orphan at my doorstep and I had to raise it, and I wasn't that keen on it. But as the week progressed, I'm like, I don't mind this narrative.
Just throw it back,
Yeah. So, they were the 2 best teams all year.
Yeah,
I've got to say,
they
clearly were.
They clearly were. It was.
And it
was a year to remember. It was a year to remember, and it's just kind of turned into one of those years, of this Panthers dynasty. How long will it go for? It's been clearly half a decade of them being the best. You're allowed to say half a decade. I know half a decade, 5 years. They've won for 4 years. They've been in the GF for 5 years. Half a decade. Who's been that good for that long? No one.
Yeah, it has been pretty incredible. In a game
to finish, Rich is wrong that it's not boring.
No, it's not boring.
Time is not boring, because he said that.
No.
It's them boring. It's boring and winning all the time. He's wrong. I say no. Even if you're not a Panthers supporter, this is definitely not boring, right? And secondly,
it's history making.
It's history making. It's great to be part of history. It really is. It's history making, and it's it's interesting. There you go. It's the
Yeah.
opposite of it. It's
You
very
also left out. You also left out the point of him being a Storm supporter.
yeah.
So
He was a bit bitter. But you know what? Even when maybe we weren't in the right place, I'm sure people were going nuts when Panthers won. But when Panthers won here, there was, as I said, 6 people. It was a little bit like, oh yeah, yay. There was, it
yeah,
didn't go nuts here at all. Like it was like, oh yeah,
no,
yeah. Yeah, I'm sure people
that's
are going
right.
nuts, I'm sure they were.
When it's not your team, it's just
Yeah,
watching a regular game. You
yeah,
don't really care.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, so that's basically what it is.
yeah,
So in a game of NRL, Olympic, gold, silver, or bronze did
yeah,
not finish.
yeah, yeah,
Gold being awesome,
yeah,
silver being pretty good, but not so good. Bronze being pretty shit, did not finish being rubbish.
yeah,
The skills and ability
yeah,
showcased by both sides last night.
yeah.
Gold, silver, bronze, or did not finish. What did you have?
Well, there weren't many tries because there was awesome defense. It was an awesome game. Yeah, I
Yeah,
got to be gold. It was a great game.
yeah.
It wasn't
I
one
had gold.
side crushing another side. No
Yeah,
one wants to see that. You get bored.
no.
Like it really felt like, Storm had not lost it till
Mm.
minutes before the end, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you
yeah,
weren't you weren't like sitting there thinking, oh yeah, okay, let's drink tea and like watch the rest of this. It's,
yeah.
like with the Swannies, there was no way, there was no way
No, no, no.
2 minutes after second half started. But this, like the Storm could have won, right? They really could have. If they got a converted try, they were 2 points away. That even a few minutes out,
They could have. It was kind
Yeah.
of a strange game for me. Like it was a good game,
Mm.
but it felt like, although it was still close and the score was still close,
Yeah.
it didn't feel like it was that close
Yeah.
because the Storm weren't getting in the 20-meter attacking zone very often at all.
Yeah.
It just felt like the game was mainly a holding pattern.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going gold on that particular scenario too.
Oh, yeah.
There, by and large, there was great ball handling. There weren't too many drop balls. There weren't a whole heap of penalties. It was fast. It was furious. It was slick. It
Yeah.
was cohesive.
Yeah.
It was basically two sides that weren't all the other sides in the competition. You got the best of the best on that night.
Yep. Yep. Good tries.
Gold,
Good tries. Yeah. Yep.
they were. Gold, silver, bronze, or did not finish.
Yep.
The entertainment value in terms of previous grand finals or just on a general scale, what standard was this grand final for you entertainment wise?
Well, specifically, I'm thinking of last year because last year I really didn't want Brisbane to win it, and I was in Queensland, right? I was in Queensland, and it was just more enjoyable to watch, a Queensland team not win in Queensland and have the rug pulled out of out of their feet.
Out of their feet, under their feet,
under their feet, out of their feet, wherever, out of there. So I guess, and I guess I enjoyed that more last year. Like it's where you are. It's what happens in the game. So compared to previous years, not boring, but it was like
I had it as silver.
Yeah, not as exciting as it's been in life.
Like
that's not the game's fault, though. That's not the game's fault.
No, it's just the way that the game goes, though. So you're going to get better. Some games are going to be better than others. I had silver on that front. I can't give it gold because gold is reserved for games like last year where it's dramatic.
Yeah.
Like I said, there seemed to be a great big holding pattern for most of the game where neither side were really breaking through, but one was always 2 steps ahead.
Yep.
Gold for me is like games like the 89 grand final. You might not remember that, but that was Canberra Tigers. That always live in my memory as probably the most dramatic one. Obviously, 2015 with Cowboys and Broncos.
Huge game,
And last year was a good one
Last
too,
year,
which
great one.
to me was a gold one as well. So
Yeah, last year.
I,
Yep.
I only reserve gold for the very best of the best. I'm not going to give
Yep.
it bronze because it wasn't rubbish because there are
Yeah.
plenty of skills on display. So I have to give that one a bit of a silver.
Yep. It's actually,
Um,
we really should have gone to Penrith for this podcast, Drewy. I'm really thinking we should
yeah,
have done that. But
but
let's
we'd have to wear Penrith jerseys, otherwise we might not make it out alive.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
What-
anyway, so it's a little bit when rugby league is over, um,
Yeah.
there's a little bit of like sadness too, because you're like,
Yes.
and you've got your weekends, and there's nothing better than when your weekend's coming up and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to watch rugby league.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
it gives you something to do, and it gives you
Yeah.
something to focus on, and now, like it just like I do like cricket, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It's still not the same though.
yeah, and
It's okay. It's all
yeah,
right. I used to prefer cricket, like not prefer cricket to rugby league, but I used to enjoy cricket more than I do
cool.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked the characters more of yesteryear.
And maybe we're going to
That
kind of, because of like we've been doing this podcast for a year.
mm,
I think one of our first podcasts was talking about the rugby league grand final last year. Well,
yes, yes, yes,
um,
yes, yeah,
so here we
yes,
are, you know,
yeah,
completing the
yeah,
circle, Drewy.
yeah.
A little bit
It's
sad. That's all I'm saying. It's a little bit sad, but I'm going to get into cricket a bit more. I'm going to watch a
yeah,
bit
yeah,
of soccer more. I want to take JJ to the Big Bash, and see a 2020
yeah,
game. Um,
yeah. No, it sounds good.
yeah.
Do you think that? Do you think
Uh-oh.
that
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
there's trouble again?
Oh no.
You
Uh,
got trouble? Hey, do you reckon that a
oh, he
fifth?
heard the Big Bash.
Oh,
I want to
hello,
take him to the Big
JJ.
Bash. What is the Big Bash? It's cricket. All right. Well,
Very good.
you keep talking. If they're too noisy,
Yeah.
I'll get rid of them.
No, that's all right. My next question is, do you reckon that a fifth grand final in a row, a fifth appearance for Penrith, would be a good or a bad thing for the game?
Good. I actually don't know if I said this. Well, I've said this to you, but
Yeah.
Penrith winning is rugby league winning.
Yes.
Like it's not just
Yes.
Panthers winning. Like people love a dynasty. People love heroes. They love
Yeah.
Cleary. I mean, let's face it. Like he's not controversial. The worst thing
Yeah.
Cleary's done is some stupid TikTok videos. Like he's a golden boy. He really is.
Yes.
Like
Imagine being another one of the siblings, brothers or sisters of his in the family.
yeah,
That would be so hard growing up.
yeah.
Imagine your accomplishments. Like, oh, I did this. And then everyone would be like, yeah, cool. Nathan's won 4 premierships in front of 80,000 people 4
Oh,
times.
this
It'd
is,
be hard living in that shadow.
yeah, it would.
But I don't like the fact of a fifth grand final in a row for Penrith. I'm going
You
the
didn't like a
opposite
fourth
side.
in a row,
No, fourth is kind
Like
of history making. Fourth has grown on me, but not a fifth. I can honestly say not a fifth now. The fifth one would be too much for me. I've seen it. I've been there. I've done that. I just like another side to sort of share the spoils. So you've had your moment. Enjoy it while it lasts. And hopefully in the future, we're going to see other games whereby it's not just Penrith in there, it's not just Penrith winning. So I'd like to return to a different sense of normality where we don't just get the same meal fed to us each and every year on exactly the same day.
10 minutes warning.
10 minutes to go.
10 minutes warning. Yep.
Right
It's
now,
becoming a regular thing, these kids coming in and annoying me, right?
that's okay.
Oh.
You're lucky I'm a motor mouth and can
Yeah.
ad lib on the fly.
Yeah. And so,
You know,
so what's next for, I mean, rugby league done. What's next for Red Hot Underdogs. I guess it's, you know, there's a lot of
There will be
exciting
other things.
boxing matches
Yeah,
coming up, right? You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah. Tszyu is due to fight extremely soon for a world title fight.
and we spoke
So
about this on the phone. Like, isn't it great? It's been a while now. It's been for at least a couple of years that boxing has been really exciting. Like it hasn't
it's
always been top of the tree, best contact sport, but it is now. It really is.
yeah, boxing's getting big, and that's because they've got the Saudi financier Turkey Alash
Yeah.
financing these big fights that
Yeah.
used to get in the way of promoters, greedy promoters, and A sides and B sides, and he's going, "Oh bugger it, I've got the money. I want the fights." It's like a big kid wanting what he wants with a
What's
ton
his
of
name
cash.
again?
Turkey Alash.
His first name is Turkey.
Yeah, like what you eat at Christmas.
Yeah, but like seriously, like
I mean, it's weird
you know,
over here. It might be normal there.
yeah, but
I
like
guess I've never told you that my actual first name is Chicken.
yeah, but like chicken's all right, turkey. Imagine being called turkey. But
I prefer to
thank
be
God we've
called
got
Turkey than
turkey,
I
good
would
old
Chicken.
Turks. I don't know too
Yeah.
much about Turks. Well, what else do you know about him?
All I know is, as far as boxing matches are concerned, fights are concerned,
Yeah,
he's like a big kid playing video games.
yeah,
He's got all this big money. He's
yeah,
cutting out the middleman and all the obstacles and all the promoters
yeah,
and just saying, give us the fights.
yeah.
So,
And
and they're
is it
coming to
right?
fruition.
Is it right? He is losing money, like he's fronting up millions and millions of dollars, and his fights aren't. I mean, I'm sure that bring in more, to the, people coming in and the hotels and the this and the that, but he's not getting all of that, you know. He's only getting what people pay to watch it, so to speak, you know. Um, so like,
You raise a good point, and there've been plenty of boxing analysts who have said, enjoy this while it lasts.
yeah,
It could be a permanent thing, but it could be a temporary thing if he starts not making enough money on his investments. So far, it would appear that he's been just a little bit more than breaking even.
yeah,
I'm not going to lie and say that he's going gangbusters with it,
yeah,
but he's been making a bit of money from it. You just
yeah.
got to worry when you start falling under that breaking even level.
Okay.
So,
But
yeah.
the the government, so
Mm.
is Saudi Arabia, right? Is he Saudi?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
he's Saudi.
Saudi Arabia need to realize, okay,
Yeah.
we need to keep this guy making this happen, bringing these
Yeah. Yeah.
tourists in to Saudi, and they're
Mm.
coming in and they're going snowboarding. It's so funny you go snowboarding. They're
Yeah, I
coming
know.
in, buying snowboards and going snowboarding, but
Yeah.
also they're riding our camels and like doing whatever they do, eating Subway, whatever you do in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
My point is, Drew, the government needs to realize we need to keep this bloke ticking, to keep
Oh
him
no, and
bringing them
that's
in.
that's what's happening. It's
Yeah,
massively in the name of tourism.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
been said over and over before, and so far it's working, and
yeah,
they're running with it. Even the UFC are trying to cash in an old turkey. So
yeah.
that
But
they
why
haven't.
why doesn't he? Why isn't he bringing the like UFC? Is it because it's
Oh, I think you've
UFC
done
doesn't
one
have as
show.
many red tapes though? Like
Oh, I think the UFC is a little bit different. I think he's done one show with the UFC,
yeah,
but I don't think that Dana White, the UFC president, wants as much involvement with Turkey in the UFC as what he involves himself in with boxing, because Dana White likes that monopoly and that dictatorship.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because that's big money for him.
yeah.
He doesn't want this guy taking all of the profit. So yeah,
But
give
with
him a
the
bit of rope,
UFC, the best
but
fight
don't
the
give him the
best.
whole reel.
UFC, the best fight the best. Like it's set up
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
but with boxing,
Yes.
not the way because of years of sticky fingers, and now it is like our
Well,
mate Turkey's making it happen. Um,
and different financial situations. You've got to remember,
yeah,
UFC fighters, they get paid a can of Coke. They get paid a can of Coke and a packet of chips.
yeah,
Whereas bloody boxing, the top fighters get good money.
yeah,
So, and like there's a huge disparity in wages. Okay, you're going to get your odd people like McGregor and that and Ronda Rousey who earn huge coin,
yeah.
but they're an anomaly. And for the most part, boxers just generally get such a bigger wage than the UFC fighters.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's not for any other reason than Dana White likes to keep it that way. I'll pay you what I decide to pay you.
yeah.
Whereas
Okay.
boxing, you can't get away with it because there's been promoters and fighters getting paid heaps of money for years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting, isn't it? Interesting. I wonder,
yeah, yeah.
I just hope it continues. Our mate Turkey.
Oh, me
How
too.
old is he? How old is he?
Oh, I'm going to say late 30s,
Oh,
maybe
great.
early
Yeah.
40s.
So he's got
Yeah,
years.
yeah, he's young.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were thinking about like an old guy with white hair and an old cane.
I haven't even seen a photo of him, honestly.
Yeah, no, he's quite young. So I would say probably mid to late 30s, maybe.
Yeah,
So that's interesting. And obviously we've got the big Fury and Usyk fight in December coming
yeah,
up.
yep, yep. So I mean,
So
there will be
that's
stuff,
massive.
there will be stuff to get us through till rugby league starts.
Yes.
Yeah, I know there's soccer too. Soccer
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well. Um,
yeah.
Probably be talking more about soccer. It's
Yeah. And one fight coming up for the hardcore fans is two Russians, Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol,
uh,
both undefeated,
when's that?
fighting for all of the belts. I believe that's the 12th of October.
What
I
division?
think that's next year. Light heavyweight,
Okay, yep, yep.
fighting for all of the belts, both undefeated, both Russian. This is another one that they couldn't get done because boxing was virtue signaling. We don't want to put Russia at the forefront.
Yeah.
And Turkey goes, bugger it.
Oh,
Forget about
Turkey's
your
put it together.
politics. Yeah, I just want to see the bloody fight.
Does
Screw
he?
your
Does Turkey?
political
Does he ever do it
grandstand.
outside Saudi, or he only does it there?
No,
Like
I
only
think
Macau or anything like
I,
that?
I think he's looking to. He actually did the recent one in England between Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois.
Oh, in England.
So
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
yeah, Turkey did that one. So he is willing to work outside of Saudi,
Yep.
which is good news. He's willing to go to America.
Yep.
He's willing to go to the UK.
Oh, 1 minute.
And you never know.
1 minute.
1 minute.
1 minute.
You never know. One day you might want to come to Australia.
Yep.
But all I can say is, in summing up everything, well done to the Penrith
Yeah.
Panthers.
Yep.
Amazing dynasty.
Yep.
You can continue to treat us all like plants. We're having the same meal
Yep.
every single year. We're just having water
Yep.
because that's all we get is
Yep.
Penrith win, Penrith win, Penrith win.
Yep. Yep.
Brilliant.
And
So to all you Panthers supporters, well done.
yeah, well done, but that's enough.
Yeah, not next year. I've had
I'm not
enough,
saying,
please.
oh, Storm win it next year because I don't want that. I
Yeah,
just like Manly to win it, obviously,
yeah, we all would, but let's be reasonable.
or someone else. Someone else.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
you've had your dash.
Come back in a few years'
Yeah,
time.